to share the live stream to the
Okay.
appropriate.
I'll say hello, hello, hello to folks as they arrive. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello, welcome.
Mm, I got to put on
Your
my
specs.
specs so I can better facilitate the sharing of this live stream.
I shall just drink tea. My goodness. I'm just going to tell this thing. It's always telling us we don't have enough juice. Come on in and have a seat. I shall
Oh,
just have a seat. Grim and I are going to get into our discussion this evening in just a little bit. And for those of you that are new around here or maybe have forgotten what our first Monday of the month is about, first Monday of the month is a time that uh, Grim and I do a live stream. We used to, back when the e-zine, the digital magazine we were creating together, back when it was still up and running and chugging along, every month we had a theme. And early on in its development, Grim and I would gather on the first Monday of the month to discuss the theme so that we would focus on that theme all month long during 420-ish tea and tarot, during any conversations that we had online. We tried to refocus it back to the theme. But we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit right now. And so, along with that, our first Mondays of the month kind of went by the wayside too. But we are back, aren't we, babe?
yes, we are.
Never really went anywhere, but just like the rest of you so much right now, just trying to, figure out our next best step, trying to help ourselves and our community as much as we can. And there's really been a lot of focus on the spiritual side of things, mind, body, spirit. Um, at least for a lot of us on our path, we've been so focused on spirit that sometimes the physical, takes a hit, or it may be the opposite way for you. It might be that you're so focused on the physical realm that your spiritual self doesn't get the attention it needs. Usually, that little middle guy, mind, emotional, in the middle, that gets all kinds of attention. Whether positive or negative attention is a different story. But anyways, we try to focus on something every month, a different topic. We've talked about getting some um, guest speakers on here with us.
We will once we get our
Yeah,
stuff figured out.
right. Got to get the chaos figured out first. That was our topic today during 420-ish tea and tarot is figuring out your own chaos first before you can really offer a hand. You know, if you go into something without sure footing yourself, you are likely putting yourself in danger, or at the very least, you're going to come up with a short end of the stick. Now, I'm not saying don't help your neighbor because you might not get anything out of it. That is not what I'm saying. I'm just saying while you're in this space, and our topic at 420 was um, the sprinkles before the storm. While you're in this space of, we know there's another physical storm headed this way. Well, not this way, but, headed inland. Um, we want to keep all of our friends and family that are affected by the recent storms in the Gulf, in the Appalachian region, and also the ones that are, waiting for this next storm to hit. And there's really been a huge number of storms this year, unprecedented, really. Once in a lifetime, they say. Armageddon, they say. You know,
100-year storm, once in a generation,
what? Yeah,
once
I
in a
mean, all
lifetime.
kinds of labels for
I'm
what's
gonna
happening.
I gotta grab my coffee over
Oh,
there.
okay. Let me get my leg off you before. I always throw my leg over Grim when we sit next to each other, and once in a while we forget, and he stands up, and my knee takes a crunch. Ah! But anyways, we're glad to have you here with us. I'm not sure everyone who is here, but I see Dharma. Hello, hello. Thank you for sharing and all that stuff, and all the hearts and such. Um, I don't really think it will let me scroll. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
I'm
Miss Christine
sorry.
Reed.
My boomer is showing.
See who that is?
Yes, I do. And hello, Julie. And hello, Ozma of Oz. I love you, my dear. And who else? Who else? Miss Christine and Mindy Thomas. And I think that might be it for now. But hello, hello to all of you. Oh yes, over here too. Hello, hello, Michelle. Hi, it's so good to have you here. She says hello, beautiful family.
Hi, Michelle.
We talk about her quite frequently, don't
Yeah,
we?
her name comes up
Yes, always. It's always good. It hasn't always,
often.
but it is always good now. Victoria Williams, hello, hello. Michelle, good to see you again. And you too, LJ. And thank you all for joining us if you're here. And if you're watching this later as a live or as a non live stream, know that the energy that we generate, the discussions we have, the energy continues. It doesn't just stop because it's no longer live. So, we'd love to hear your feedback either way. If you're live or not, still make comments. We try to go back and read them.
We try to.
We do, we do. Um,
Just worry about that camel.
all right. So, um, right now we're waiting on a gift from our dear friend Clover, who gifted us a camera that we should be able to like sit side by side instead of having to like lean in and lean
It's like a
over.
fun roller coaster ride. See?
Oops,
What?
nothing.
Tonight's discussion is a continuation of what we discussed today during our 420, which was the sprinkles before the storm. And now we're
Yes.
going to be discussing a little bit more about the storm and the upcoming month that
Yes, we are.
this brings to us.
Yes, we are. And I'm sorry if I lose a little focus while we're talking. I'll be honest with you, this energy has me very, I don't, it's not ungrounded necessarily. It's not ungrounded. It is just I'll be honest, we are in unknown territory right now. I mean, all of us that are alive, living, breathing, except maybe with the exception of someone like Saint Germain, right? Like maybe Saint Germain, um, who has supposedly lived, very very long time, very very long time. There are other characters out there that fall into that category, but most of us alive right now, this is our one shot at this one. So, we want to try to open our minds and open our hearts and learn enough about what we're doing so that we can leave this level, if you will, if you consider our lives kind of like a game, because it is often very much about what step you take forward and when you decide to step back. It's very much about interacting with the other players in the game. So, and with each lifetime, we learn a new level of skills, just like a video game, just like a video game. So, here we are now. We are in this unprecedented time in our lives. And years and years ago now, like 2015 maybe ish is when we started hearing about the age of Aquarius again. It was just around the corner. It was more than just a song from, Jefferson Starship or whatever they were called back then. It was more than just that. It was an actual time period, astrologically speaking, that we were going to be entering and be living within. And we entered that time. Some folks experienced the energy of it even a few years before it actually entered into Aquarius. Our whole realm is within the age of Aquarius. And with that comes a whole lot of enlightenment. A whole lot of shadows come from the dark. And
Some of that
we are
enlightenment,
certainly.
some of that enlightenment comes with peeling off some pretty aggressive scabs.
Oh boy, doesn't it just? I mean, it has been just full of all kinds of tumultuous moments, both, globally speaking, and also within a lot of your lives and our life too. It just feels like it's one little bump after another, and now we've had these big storms that have devastated an entire, they've devastated generations. They've it's devastated, um, you know, almost a culture of people if you think about it. Because life won't ever
No,
return to the same way that it was before. And you think those hills were haunted before? You think those hollers uh, weren't full of haints and spirits before? Yeah. And
how many old Appalachian women, sour jars, war jars, buried in the yards, in the nooks and the crannies of all of those hollers have just been churned up.
right. I was thinking about this today. We had one of our root and read meetings with one of the people that's in that program with us. And we were talking about how just, you know, people's entire lives have been wiped off the map. Family albums and precious heirlooms. And my mind started thinking about all of the magic that had been handed down from generation to generation, baptismal gowns and Bibles and special, God's eye symbols and just different roots that have been kept in the family from generation to generation to generation. All of that. Grandma, and this one came up to me, Grandma's um, favorite cast iron skillet that she used to make black salt, right? Grandma's skillet got, swept away in a in a mudslide, or washed out wherever all that water ended up going.
That, you know, as you're telling me that, I'm really being hit hard by that story that I read or watched or read this morning. The 200-year-old farm that has been in the same family for 200 years, generations of family living on this farm yet to this day. There's the 70-year-old grandfather whose great 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 grandfather founded the farm, still living in the farmhouse he was born in. His children and his grandchildren and his great grandchildren all still living on that property, surrounded by generations of hard work. The barns that they built, the silos that were erected, the ground that was tilled in a blink of an eye,
The blood, sweat, and tears of several
in
generations.
a blink of an eye.
And, not to mention the energies and the blood, sweat, and tears that may have gone into the land before it was settled. You
Hmm.
see what I'm saying? So, um,
That's where I was going to circle back around to. So when you consider that on just this one farm that has that cultural history of from the Western culture, and then all of the magic that land had accumulated from the tribes of the people that had lived there prior,
Mhm.
all washed down river, and the ground now unusable.
I mean, I'm just, yeah. When I think about that, on a physical note, that section of our country is what I believe one of the most beautiful in the nation, anywhere really. I mean, going through the Appalachian Mountain Range, the Smoky Mountains, and all of the little surrounding foothills and whatnot in the area, just lush with greenery and just beautiful. I know it has its rough zones, I know. And I know life has been difficult there for a while. It isn't like, it wasn't hit by the economy like everywhere else.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily a prosperity zone.
No, but there's so much deep and old magic that was already there and infused in the ground. I know that there will be a comeback. I know that this is not the end of the story for that location. Um, I just hope that uh, the powers that be that can pull strings for those communities, I hope they don't give up their rights to the land. I feel like there's more to it than what we all maybe know right now. And so our hearts and our thoughts go out to those people, uh, that they may make the right decision, that they make the right decision. Because I know there's a lot of decision making going on, a lot of heartbreaking
Oh,
decisions.
gods.
And, I'm just, we know that when the smoke kind of clears, and it's going to take a minute, in the midst of all that, those of us that have been maneuvering in the vibrational frequencies, it's been tumultuous the last several years, really, but we've been able to kind of move through it. But we're in new territory, my friends. We are in brand new territory.
And
So as we navigate it,
I was to say new territory, but it's territory that we've been discussing in our own ways the last several years now about being prepared, making yourself emotionally, physically, spiritually ready for the days to come because we don't know what they're going to bring.
no,
And this event, this hurricane that ripped through those states, it ripped through a part of the country where the country boys will survive. That part of the nation is ripe with the survivalist mentality. But outside of that, it's also filled with people that couldn't afford to be self sufficient,
yeah,
where community is ever
yeah.
so important.
Some of those mining towns and such have been hit so hard. And, it's like when the people are already down, what else? What else? But so Grim and I are speaking an advisory word this evening during our first Monday of the month. That as you maneuver with the energies right now, whether you are making a spell jar, creating a wreath for your front door, blowing cinnamon in through the front door on the first of the month. Whatever level of magic that you kind of get up to in your daily rounds, know that it's going to feel a little different right now because the energies out there are shifting and
Hmm.
they're shifting fast. And so we need to be able to adapt. Um, they said that the death count is like 230 or 40.
40 something, yeah.
We all know that that's probably going to go higher. We all wish that was not the case. Um, we just keep shining the light that whatever is best right now for the people in our community, in our country, in our family, whatever's best, that is what we are, asking for, the next best step, that it just becomes a little easier for those of us that are here holding the light, shining the light, and trying to be way showers for folks. And many of you joined Grim and I on that journey. I know it. Even though you might step off the path a little bit, that's okay. We all do it. You get back on when you can. When someone approaches you with the question or, seeks your advice.
Just checking up on comments.
I'm surprised that I'm surprised that we haven't heard more comments online right now in the metaphysical or witchy world, I should say, about trying to uh, thwart the the path of the hurricane that is fast approaching. Uh, the Gulf side of Florida again, following in the footpath of the Helene hurricane that
No,
occurred.
it's going south of that.
It's a little south.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, yeah, I know, and it's changed categories a couple times, right?
Mhm.
And they're expecting it to be back to a 3,
Yes, right
when it,
now it's at a 5.
which is tremendous.
Yeah, I
It's a
can.
tremendous amount of wind energy headed, you know, in the direction of all of those inland waters. They're all going to feel it. A lot of witches, I'm imagining that people are trying to keep the storm from, entering certain areas, asking for protection. Grim and I do that too frequently. But I wanted to remind you that in this realm where we live, it is a realm of duality. For every up, there is a down. Uh, so if you ask for um, the storm to, take its easiest course, and that's what I am asking for. Take its easiest course with the least amount of damage.
The path of least resistance.
But if you try to stop it altogether, there is a price to pay. There will be a price to pay. And we've seen it not just in our own lives, but in other areas. When you ask for something like that, in this realm, and it's not like this in all realms, but in this realm, you ask for, a storm to be pushed in the opposite direction or whatever. Somebody is still going to receive the storm, right? Because Mother Nature takes its course.
Yes.
And so we need to be careful, especially in this new energy bubbling around us. Energy that, it's shifting. Um, some storylines have been lost forever.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there, as I said, you think
Okay.
those hollers were haunted before.
Okay. So as far as what you're saying though, we it's not necessarily the right balancing act to say storm go away because that takes a toll. It's not the right necessarily path to take asking it to go away to somewhere else because now you're inflicting damage where it wasn't necessarily
Exactly.
going to be.
Exactly.
So is the goal then to just mitigate it in such a way that it takes the path of least resistance physically?
Yes, that by the time it actually hits shore.
Mhm.
But see, even if we calm it down, somewhere else it's rising up.
Yes.
So that's the thing. Sometimes you just gotta let the winds blow, and
Okay.
that is, oh,
That's hard.
I mean, but we have to weigh these things. We have to weigh them very carefully.
But okay, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be an all negative thing then.
No, no, no.
So when we look at like what just went through the the Appalachian states, there is goodness that will come out of that horrible destruction. Now, we're not seeing what that goodness will be.
Not yet.
But what we are seeing is an exposure of failure in the system that is
Right.
preventing us from allowing people to take their next best step.
And we are seeing some goodness, and that is communities helping other
Communities,
communities.
okay?
I mean, we're not getting our news from the news stations. We watch the feet on the ground people like us, and it's wonderful to know that those that survived the storm and the flood have been reaching out to try to get to their neighbors. And I know there are quite a few people going from other outside communities to get there and help as much as possible. And,
There's people trying to turn away food and water, thinking that there are other people that need it worse than they do.
right,
And to me,
right. That's withstanding.
that's withstanding.
It, it,
That is hashtag withstanding.
right.
Hashtag withstanding.
It's amazing because, you know, what some of those communities, I mean, there isn't even a community anymore. It's the community is their hearts
Yep.
now, what's in their hearts. And it's just amazing. So be cautious as you navigate magically through these times. Be cautious that you are um, doing your casting with a clear mind, positive, magical intention.
Remembering that there's always a balance, an equilibrium, a price to pay, I think you put it a little
Right?
bit
There's
ago.
always, right now in this realm, and I have a feeling it's not like that. Oh, I know it's not like that in all realms, but
If you think about it though, magic is like there has to be a balance. In all the elements, there's a balance.
where there's not water, there's air.
And even in that, in the air, where there's a low pressure, there's a high pressure.
Right?
Where there's a vacuum, there's something coming in to fill that void.
Exactly.
There's always movement.
Fire and air, fire and
Yeah.
earth and water. You're right, babe. I never even really thought about it
Even
before.
Earth is always moving,
That's very
always
true.
flowing. Hmm.
I mean, that might sound like a very simplistic thing to you all, but it's just something that I have never really, I guess, given it that sort of thought
Yeah.
about how they touch one another. We've talked about vibrational frequency of of biological creatures, how our frequencies touch one another and they help define who we are.
Yeah.
You know, you got one of you might say, "Oh yeah, I know Gussie Dup. I watch her on social media, and she's got blue eyes, right?" Somebody else might go, "Yeah, but I don't know about her eyes, but I know she's got like gray wavy hair." Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So we help formulate an opinion by like what we see from one another. And when we meet one another face to face, it's the same thing. My reality defines your reality and vice versa. But I never thought about it affecting the elements in that very same
Hmm.
way. Where it's yin yang, where there isn't one,
Yeah.
there's the other.
Yeah. Because the one thing that you can't have is a vacuum,
Right.
a void.
I think the reason we're not seeing a lot of information out there right now about large numbers of witches casting, circles on protection
Hmm.
for these regions. I think everyone is at least low key aware that we're on new ground. We're in new territory. You know,
Well, I will say I'm noticing in a lot of the user groups, Facebook, and even on the TikTok feeds, us more, what would you call us, experienced, seasoned witches,
elders.
elders,
Yes, the wizened ones. Yes,
the
I'm with you.
wizened ones are showing a lot more patience to the new crop of witches coming up the ranks.
Oh,
I,
that's wonderful to hear.
and when a new witch cries out, we should do a spell for an X, whatever, there isn't a lot of people willing to jump on the bandwagon.
There was for a very long
There's a lot
time.
of people willing to jump on the, hey, do your thing.
Right. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, I am seeing that.
That's wonderful to hear. Yes. For a while there, it was very much full of those kinds of spells, questions, and relationship questions. And I get it. I was in my 20s too. I really was. 30s.
And I think even the newer generation of witches coming into it too, are coming into it with a little higher vibration than
Previous
yeah,
generations.
their
It took
default
us a longer
yeah
time to get to that vibration.
their default vibration is already a little bit more
Well,
enlightened.
they've been created by people who are functioning at a higher frequency. You know what
I
I'm
can see,
saying?
yeah, that does
So
make
it
sense.
it makes complete sense to me. Um, it makes complete sense to me. And so it's just going to be a real roller coaster ride, even on into 2025, um, and beyond. I feel like it's just going to be one little. We might
Ah,
get a reprieve at Christmas time during Yule solstice season, but
the men's witchcraft group that I'm in right now, that haven't talked to you about it in a long time. A lot of them are saying it's time to pull inwards and really examine where you're willing to put your energies,
hmm
because we're coming into a time of such chaos that there's going to be no way to manage
hmm
everything that's coming at you.
that's what I think today's 420 message was about. It was about taking care of yourself, I know we all want to help one another, but let's make sure
Yeah,
our own oars are in the boat. Let's make sure
got some provisions.
we know where our anchor is. Let's make sure, we're safe to row and safe to go. Um, and I think that's really important. Part of it is resting right now and not being afraid to go into the shadows, not being afraid. These are some of, I want to say the final ones, but it's not final until it's over. But these are some of the ones, these are shadows from your distant past. These are shadows coming up from when you were very young.
Some of which is even past life,
Some of it which is even past life, right?
ancestral at the very least.
Yes, indeed.
I
Oh,
can't read the comments from here.
Michelle says, can't pour from an empty cup, and you are absolutely right. And she also said that it's a much higher number than the 240 they're reporting on the news right now, or they were
Yeah,
a few hours ago. Um, and it is much higher, and Hurricane Milton is right behind. So remember, as you set out your wishes and protections for folks, remember that there is a balance to everything in this universe. And so, Mother Earth is really, she's really letting us know, isn't she? And
oh
so,
geez, you know, I can't help but wonder. I am a believer, and this is, I'm going to go down my little conspiracy place here.
go
I
for it.
am a believer in civilizations prior to the human civilization, or
Oh,
the
yeah.
one that
Oh,
we know
yeah.
of today.
Sure.
I'm not going to try and claim that we are the epitome of what civilization has ever been.
Right.
But all civilizations come to an end. Not all of them see it coming.
Right. We kind of see it
We're
coming.
kind of seeing ours unfold a little at a time
We
over
are.
the last several years. So it's
Like we said, time and time again, we never thought this was really, we didn't think it was our generation when we watched all those movies. We thought it was going to be, like our
But I
children.
don't think it's the apocalypse that it's not the end of the world biblically speaking.
No,
It's a shift,
it's a gnosis.
a gnosis. Yes, it's a shift, a change in the way we see things, the way we know things.
That's what
Yep,
apocalyptic means, right?
yep. A,
I don't remember what
an
apophos
end of
means.
the way. I can't remember the exact terminology, but it basically means the end of the way you see things, the end of the way,
Apocrypha is a separate realm.
the end of the world as we know it, not necessarily in a flood
Somebody look
biblical.
somebody look that up for us real fast. What is the root etymology of the word apocalypse? Because it isn't what we normally think of it. We
Yeah,
did a live stream on that like a year or two
that was
ago.
longer than that. We were still living in Rose Street, I think.
I don't remember, but I can't remember what it means now. I just know it doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. And we've been experiencing it for quite a while now, especially those of us that are sensitive. So don't let that scare you. We're in this together, and that's why we love the whole hashtag withstanding thing, because we are witches withstanding together. Someone told me today, and I feel this is true for quite a few of you, over the last several years, and this is true for me, I know, over the last several years, I have as many friends online, close friends, as I do, um, as I do like friends in my real life with me. I've come to depend on a lot of those folks, and when I don't hear from them, it makes me sad.
The liminal friends.
Yeah, you gonna go to sleep? I love you. Night, babe.
I
Mist says good night, y'all.
can't read that one.
This this might sound tacky, but love is this is Ozma. But love is the key. Mother Nature sees that all culture higher lights do. Yes, indeed. No, it does not sound tacky. It does not. Ozma says good night. Um, so no, it doesn't sound tacky. It sounds exactly right. We are all connected, and um, and so we're all going to be feeling this vibrational frequency shift that the world is experiencing. Um, it's funny, but when I do turn on the news, I feel like we're in a vacuum. I do, I do, I do. I feel like it's always the same things over and over. It
It's
doesn't matter if you check one news outlet over another one. It's just all about the little things that we care about
you
right here.
ever when we're watching those post-apocalyptic movies, but the apocalypse hasn't happened yet.
Right,
It's just the credits of the movie, but the
right,
credits are the names scrolling by of all the actors and the
right.
producers and all that fun stuff. But the sound isn't the music for the movie; it's news blips, and
That's Kelly in the
yeah,
background.
it's little news blips of normal everyday news life with a
Yeah.
little insert of the virus came out
Oh,
today,
yes, 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 yes.
and then by the time the credits are done rolling, it's a full blown.
Right.
And that's kind of where I feel like we're at when we turn on the news.
Yeah, we're in the sprinkle before the storm.
The sprinkle before the
This
storm.
is the sprinkle before the storm, and ye best prepare. Make sure you have your wards and your sigils. Your protection out there. I'm not saying that you need to run and hide that kind of level thing, but I'm saying just know that the energies are a shifting. And so you need to be prepared not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually as well. So don't leave those things unattended. You gotta address all three, and that is good soul keeping, right? That's good for the soul. It's good for the body. It's good for the mind. Um, what, hun? The dog?
No, it just Good for the body, good for the soul. My grandma's old adage.
I know,
No,
Grandma knew.
but the ending line. Remember that part?
No.
Good for the body, good for the soul. Might even be good for the old.
Oh, no. 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 Well, but no, that's not what I was going
I
to say.
know.
But
And
I do.
that's where my mind went.
You came from a very unique people. I, no, but I do. I
Well, we
feel
should,
like,
good for the body, good for the soul. Might even be good for the old butthole.
yeah, Kelly, I agree with you.
Ah,
You had to say it, Grim. They knew what the word was without you having to say
how do
them.
you know that?
Because these are intelligent folks. These
Oh,
smart folks.
okay. Well, I didn't come. Oh, I did come from an interesting people.
You did. You did. And that's the thing. Ozma's saying she's Scots Irish. You know, hey, hey, so are we. We have a really prickly, branchy family tree. But we
It's
do.
more of a briar bush.
It's like a briar bush. But we do too. We also have Scots Irish. And that's what I mean about this whole section of Appalachia just getting decimated. Don't think that's not going to affect the magic fabric, right, of the United States. It's going to affect it because there have been family traditions and stories and items that have been passed down from one generation to the next. They take that so very seriously in many of the hollers still, and I'm sure they will continue. But it's shifted now. It's shifted now, and so I feel like not only are we mourning as witches, we're not only mourning the loss of the lives that I know are going to continue to climb, but also we mourn the loss of the stories and the magic that might not make themselves, you know, some of it might be buried in the mud, and so we find ourselves grieving about that a little bit as well. Anywho, I hope that you enjoyed our conversation tonight. I know there were quite a few people that are here, um, and I'm terrible at this. Whenever I scroll this thing, I always like hit the wrong button and then I erase the whole thing. But hello, hello, Lily, whoever that is. Lily is renewed. It's good to see you. And I know a few Lilies, and all of them are lovely people, and I hope you're all renewed, actually. Um, and Ozma is here, and yeah, Dizzy is here, and Sandy. Hi, Sandy. That's a new name to me, but I might know you on another social media platform. It's gonna take me a minute to get used to who everybody is because I'm new here in this neighborhood. Not new in this neighborhood, but I'm new in this neighborhood. I hope y'all had a wonderful however long we've been chatting together. I hope somebody looks up what the word apocalypse means because maybe you should all do that. There's some homework for you. I love to assign homework when I give readings, so there's a little homework. Look up the word apocalypse. Look up the root, the etymology of the word, and that's a fun conversation to have with people in the public from time to time, because most public think that the word apocalyptic means end of the world, and it really doesn't. So take a peek. That's your homework. Uh, Graham, you had to take the dear dog outside. Is she doing okay?
She's all right.
It's a rough night
She's something she got into hasn't agreed with her digestion.
for a couple of days. Yeah, yeah. She eating grass.
No,
Well, that's a good sign.
she's eating plenty of dog food though. Just needs some fiber.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's true. Alrighty. So, is that all? Are we done?
Are we done?
I think we might be finished. I hope that you all have a really, really wonderful evening. Grim and I are going to continue. We've been kind of busy working on some background things, getting some projects, uh, finished up, and so that's been exciting.
We got it.
We've been doing a lot of a late night owl
Yeah.
work, haven't we?
And we've got a road trip planning to do, so we might need a driveway to pull into or and a bed to stay in overnight between here and our destination.
Yes, that's right. That would be nice to have a place to sleep on the way. We love to stay with Purple Door Witches when we travel because we get to meet so many interesting and unique folks like you. And it's wonderful to share a meal and get to see where some of you live and get to know your magic in your neck of the woods. So, anyways, thank you for sharing some time with Grimmer and I. There he is, my love. And it's been great spending this evening with you. Thanks for joining us on first Monday of the month. And have a blessed evening. Yes, Ozma says road trip. Yeah, yeah. Oh, give her buttermilk.
Callie? Oh, she might be
Oh,
down for that
she
too.
probably would. Good suggestion. Thank you. Mwah. Stay magical, y'all. We love you. See you at 4:20 on Wednesday. Right?
Yes,
Right.
stay magical.
Stay magical. Bye.